The greatest Jewish mind in all of Jewish history was born and raised and studied in Qurtuba. Who is this person? Who can tell me? Musa ibn Maymun. Rambam is what the Jewish people call him. The holy rabbi, Rambam. Memorize this name. That's a title, honorific title. Musa ibn Maymun, Moses Maimonides. In the entire history of Judaism, there is no theologian that is more respected and venerated than Rambam. Rambam, Moses Maimonides, born and raised in Qurtuba, traveled the Muslim world, died and is buried in Egypt, in Cairo. He spoke fluent Arabic. He went through the madrasa systems. In those days, if you wanted to study, you went to the madrasa, right? And the madrasa is religious. So you study the sciences along with Quran and tafsir and hadith and fiqh. So Musa ibn Maymun, as a Jewish student, was not just given the freedom, he excelled in his studies. And his biographers mentioned this. I'm not making this up. Read his modern day biography. He lived like a Muslim, prayed like a Muslim, recited Quran like a Muslim. Nobody forced him. It was free. Andalusia, you could be who you are. But he was in such awe of Islam that some people say he secretly converted for a few years. Allahu A'lam. But he lived like a Muslim in the dorms. And there was no pressure because in Andalusia, there was a type of religious freedom that was not found anywhere in Europe. You could be a Christian, you could be a Jew, you could be a Zoroastrian, you could be a Muslim, and everybody lived freely in Andalusia. But Rambam decided to act like and memorize the Quran like a Muslim. Eventually, he goes back to his rabbi, profession, and he begins writing. Now, this deserves an entire lecture. I don't have time to get into there, but it is one of my areas that I love to read about because intellectual history is my area. Moses Maimonides, listen, I'll just summarize it. He took Islamic concepts and he Judaicized them. Mainstream Judaism is influenced by Moses Maimonides, and Moses Maimonides is influenced by Islamic thought. Now, this is not a conspiracy. Again, look this up. In fact, there's an entire entry in the Stanford Encyclopedia. I just saw this today to make sure that I can reference to you. The Stanford Encyclopedia Online, which is one of the most largest online encyclopedias. The Stanford Encyclopedia of Intellectual Thought has an entire article, The Islamic Influences on Moses Maimonides. And of them, his proofs for the existence of God, his concept of God is coming straight out of Al-Farabi Al-Kindi. His notion of prophethood and what is prophethood. His notion of even theology. Pause here, footnote. Sounds strange, I know. But Judaism, by and large, did not concentrate, did not care about belief. Judaism cared about what? What? Law. Judaism cared about how you act. It had almost nothing to do with Aqidah. That's why they don't have any book on Aqidah. The first book of Jewish theology, who wrote it? Rambam. The first book. And you read this book, and you are reading Al-Farabi, Al-Kindi. You are reading Islamic Mu'tazili thought. His conception of God, of the attributes, of Qadr, his conception of prophethood, it is coming straight out of his madrasa training. And this is now mainstream Jewish belief. I'm not making this up. This is well known. Mainstream Jewish theology is coming straight out of Andalusian madrasa. He just changed it, made it a little bit. And he wrote a creed. To this day, the righteous or the observant Jewish people, the first thing they do when they wake up, they read Moses Maimonides' one-page creed. And it begins, Ana mu'minu, I believe in, just like Aqidah Tahawiyya, just like other Aqidas, it literally begins, I believe in, and there's 13 points. I believe in God, there is one, la sharika la type of stuff, literally coming out of Islamic thought. He has no partner, cannot be described in this and that, literally goes through, and it goes all the way, and I believe in resurrection, I believe in the Messiah that's going to come, one of the 13 points, I believe in the Messiah. So this is coming from Musa ibn Maymun. By the way, one interesting thing about Rambam, wallahi, so ironic. He became the best physician of his time because he mastered Ibn Sina. So he read Ibn Sina, he mastered Ibn Sina, now he's the best physician. He works his way up. Guess who he becomes the personal doctor to? None other than Salah ad-Din al-Ayyubi. Salah ad-Din al-Ayyubi takes him as his personal court doctor. For a period of time, he travels with Salah ad-Din. He is the primary doctor of Salah ad-Din Ayyubi. Nobody can accuse our religion of anti-Semitism. Nobody can accuse our sultans, our khulafa, of hating people because of their different faith. It didn't happen that way. If you were talented, you were the best doctor, and it's so ironic. Salah ad-Din is conquering Jerusalem, and Rambam is his main doctor. Subhanallah. How can we not remind our Jewish brethren of this reality? Look at from where to where. Look at the past, and now look at how that has flipped. Eventually, he went to Egypt. He lived in Egypt. By the way, he wrote most of his writings in which language? Arabic. The chief rabbi of Judaism is writing his books in Arabic. This is well known. You can see them and look at them online. And he has a book called The Guide of the Perplexed. And there are a number of papers about this, that this is coming straight out of Al-Ghazali's Al-Munqidh min al-Dalal. Literally, Imam Al-Ghazali wrote Al-Munqidh min al-Dalal, and there is a book that he wrote for his people, The Guide for the Perplexed. And it has the same motifs, the same notion. Again, it's not copy-paste, because in the end of the day, he's an intellectual thinker. But he takes ideas, he takes notions from Islam, and he Judaizes them, which is what we expect to do. But where is the origin? What's the kernel? From our faith tradition. It is true to say that never in the last 2,000 years before the creation of this country has the Jewish people flourished as they did under Muslim Spain, under Islamic Andalusia. Their greatest minds, their largest synagogues. You can visit their synagogues to this day in Qurtuba, in Granada. They still have their synagogues that were built not under the Christians, under the Muslims. Now in 1492, Ferdinand Isabella come, the first decree, all Jewish people will leave or convert or die, be killed. Where did these 500,000 Jewish people go? The Sultan Muhammad II gave a decree. Anybody who flees from Andalusia shall be welcomed in our lands anywhere you are. And he said, any vizier, any governor, any businessman who impedes their settling, who stops them to settle in any city, shall be punished by the Sultan himself. Sultan Mehmed II welcomed hundreds of thousands of Jewish people in 1492 with open arms. He literally saved them from execution or forced conversion. And he was angry at Ferdinand and Isabella, and he goes, this is not a good policy. But he thanked them. He goes, but you are giving us your good minds, your good workers. Don't worry, we will take them. Because of this, sisters and brothers, where did they go? They ended up in Morocco, in Tunisia. They ended up in Egypt. Hundreds of thousands of large Jewish communities were living in the Middle East, in Yemen. They were living there because Ferdinand and Isabella expelled the Jewish people. Muslims welcomed them and they said, Tafaddal, come and live here. And they lived here up until 1947. It is truly sad that the same descendants of those whom we saved, those who were given refuge with us, they have flipped the script, and they are doing what Hitler did to them, they are doing to the very people who protected them. And we just say this as a historical fact and record. Otherwise, we complain to Allah and Allah alone. These are facts we should all know, and we are proud as Muslims of our history, and we're proud of our Sharia, and there's nothing to be ashamed of. Alhamdulillah, thumma alhamdulillah.